Officially call the meeting to order. Sam, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logsdon,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes,
everyone present.
thank you. First order of business is the treasurer's transfer report. Treasurer Sharp.
Yes, sir. And that was dated. Those transfers were dated for February the 24th and also for February the 26th for your approval.
Form a motion.
Second.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate Mitchell, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Rahal to approve the treasurer's transfer report as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logsdon.
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes,
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
motion carried.
thank you.
Thank you.
Action item number 5, presentation and approval of all bills.
Make a motion, we approve all bills.
Beat me to it. Second.
Oh,
Okay, I got a motion by Fourth District Magistrate Rahal, a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon to approve the bills as presented. Any discussion, gentlemen? Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Laswell,
yes.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes,
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logsdon,
thank
motion
you.
carried.
Approval of the minutes from February the 16th of 2021.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes dated February 16th, 2021.
Second.
Got a motion by Second District Magistrate Logsdon, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Rahal to approve the minutes from February the 16th as presented. Any discussion from members of the court? Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes,
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logsdon,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
motion carried.
thank you, Sam.
Welcome.
Under old business, we have no presentations today. Under old business, it's the second reading of zoning ordinance 21-03, 1010 Properties LLC. Rob?
Thank you, Judge. This will be the second reading in Commonwealth, Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 21-03. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to B1 highway business. The property in question is 1.82 acres more or less, located at 4747 Highway 44 East in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court. And whereas the Fiscal Court disputes and rejects the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for denial of said zoning change and disapproves and rejects the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes. And based upon its own findings of fact, determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. And now therefore be ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth, Kentucky. Section 1, the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2021-Z-03, is hereby changed from R1 residential to B1 highway business. Section 2, this ordinance take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. In first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the second day of February 2021. Given second reading and voted upon, a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the second day of March 2021.
Hey, Rob,
Yes, sir.
can you read the finding of facts?
Was there, so you wanting to present the findings of fact for the court?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These are proposed findings of fact. And if the court wants to approve the rezoning, they would have to approve these findings of fact first, and then they can move on to vote on the ordinance. So this be Planning Commission docket number 2021Z-03, 1010 Properties LLC, 4747 Highway 44 East. Following are the findings of fact to support approval of the zoning of the property located at 4747 Highway 44 East. That's the subject of docket number 2021Z-03 from R1 Residential to B1 Highway Business, as set forth in Bullitt County Fiscal Court Ordinance number 21-03. The existing zoning classification is not appropriate, and the proposed zoning is more appropriate, and that the property is currently vacant, has not been used as a residence in many years, has been previously used as a business, directly fronts a major state highway, which makes it more suitable for business than residential. And there have been major changes of an economic or social nature within the area involved, which were not anticipated, and which has substantially altered the basic character of the area, and that the property directly adjoining the property has been zoned B1. Other business zoning exists in the immediate area, including a long-standing business operation, only 2 properties removed.
I'd like to make a motion, we accept the finding of facts on this zoning case.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logsdon to approve the findings of facts on zoning case 21-03, 1010 Properties LLC. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Yes, I want to say 3 or 4 things here and everything in regards to it. I strongly believe in everything. This does not meet the comprehensive plan. And there's possibly 82 uses of the property if it goes to the B1 zoning. And that's really the big concern that I have with this property and everything. There's no guarantee we got today or tomorrow, next year, or whatever and everything. If this property is sold, someone comes in and they decide they want to put another type of business in there, they offer a lot of money, I believe it will be sold. And there is inadequate infrastructure. And I feel strongly that this property and everything should not be zoned B1. And that's basically my concern on it, is what can happen with this property tomorrow or next week or next year. So I just want to bring that out and everything. So, and that's the reason, it depends on what the court wants to do and everything, but I really don't support changing this zoning on this piece of property to the B1 because of that. And that's it. Thank you.
Judge, just to rebuke that is, we can't, we can't tell the future. You know what I'm saying? We're doing what we think's right with the zoning that is today's time. So, it could be any zoning case there is, but right now we're making a decision on today. So that's just kind of the rebuttal to that, but I'm good.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank everybody for their interest in this particular situation, both for and against. We've received a lot of emails on both sides of the fence, and I've looked at those very, very closely, and I appreciate everybody's time and in this situation, as I said. And I do feel like that with the businesses surrounding and the lack of business there at Country Corner and various things, some of the objections I've looked at very closely from neighboring property owners. I spoke with Robert Watkins in great length today. I know he visited the property out there, and one of the major concerns was drainage and traffic in and out of that road. And he assured us he assured me that with us working with him at the fiscal court, they'll do whatever they can do to make that road safer for school buses or for whatever traffic is in and out of there. And I was under the impression originally that drainage was a big concern with the specific property here, but it seems like the drainage is other properties surrounding that. So I don't think that plays a factor in it, but I don't see a problem at this point moving forward.
Okay. Thank you, Magistrate Logsdon. At this time, Sam, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
No.
Mr. Logsdon,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
No.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Now we're back to the zoning, correct, Rob?
Yes, Judge, that was just a vote on the findings of fact. Now there would need to be a motion on approving the ordinance.
Okay,
Is it approving the ordinance for the change or?
Yes, Master, if the court's inclined, someone can make a motion to approve zoning ordinance 2103, which would approve the rezoning.
I'll make a motion to do that.
I'll second.
I have a motion by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill, a second by 2nd District Logston to, Rob, help me with this a little bit, that I was confused there.
Judge, it'd be to approve zoning ordinance number 21-03.
As approved by the finding of fact, or as it is stands right now with,
Well, the findings of fact have already been approved and are part of the record.
okay,
So those will be entered as support for approving the ordinance.
okay. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
No,
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
no,
Mr. Rahal,
Yes,
Judge Summers,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
In the new business, first reading and public hearing of zoning ordinance 21-05, Robert and Tracy Odell.
Good morning. This is Planning Commission docket 2021Z-07. The owner is Robert and Tracy Odell. They're asking to rezone their property from agricultural to R1 residential at 266 Meyer Drive. It's 1 acre more or less, and the purpose is to create a separate residential lot. The comprehensive plan shows low density residential. The Bullitt County Planning Commission held a public hearing on February 10th, 2021. And based on that testimony, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the requested zoning change is in agreement with the comprehensive plan, and there was no objections to the rezoning. And based on that testimony, the Bullitt County Planning Commission sends a favorable recommendation to Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Rob,
Yes, Judge, this will be the first reading for Commonwealth Kentucky County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 21-05. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 1.0 acres more or less, located at 266 Meyer Drive in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held with the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the commission, the information provided in the staff report, the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court. Whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. And now therefore be ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2021Z-07, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, change section provision of part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction. Then there may this ordinance shall not be affected, and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions, to the extent they are inconsistent herewith, are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 2nd day of March 2021. To be given second reading and voted upon at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 16th day of March 2021.
thank you, Rob. Anyone here to speak against Bob and Tracy Odell's zoning ordinance 21-05? Anyone here to speak for Bob and Tracy Odell's zoning ordinance 21-05? Hearing no discussion, we will have this before the court at the March 16th meeting for a final reading. Number 2, action item requested to hire Joseph Jaggers as a full-time paramedic at $25 per hour, effective today at 3/2/2021. I will make that recommendation.
Second.
Got a second by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill. Any discussion, members of the court? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
yes,
Mr. Rahel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Action item number 3 under new business, requested to hire Brian Seidler, Larry Johnson, and Christopher Poe as part-time paramedics at $25 an hour, effective again today at March 2nd, 2021, and I will make that recommendation.
Second motion.
I got a second by 1st District Magistrate Mitchell. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Laswell,
yes,
Mr. Rahel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Action item number 4, requested to surplus items for planning and zoning and see the attached list. Felicia, you have any comments on it?
No comments. We're just trying to organize and clean up our office some and have a better filing system. So we're getting rid of a bunch of little things, and then we all got new computers as well.
Okay.
And this is actually planning and zoning and code enforcement combined because we couldn't figure out whose computers were what.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Put in form of motion.
Second.
Sean second, and I see your yellow bar. Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Mitchell, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston to surplus the attached items from planning and zoning. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll, please.
And Felicia, do you mind to send me that list as well, please?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rahel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell.
yes,
Motion carried.
Thank you. Action item number 4, y'all should have had this in your packets. This is something we've been discussing for over a year. And to approve the Highway 245 tourism overlay. It's now been through the P&Z and plan and zoning. And in discussion on this, members of the court, this is an opportunity to show some true diversification of our economy here in Bullitt County, and also to preserve a very distinctive corridor in our community.
Yeah, Judge, I just want to say, just thank the planning and zoning for, spending time on it and looking at it. Thank Felicia for pushing it. And I really appreciate, it's going to be a great thing for this county. We can really set apart, a little bit of a tourism that our county offers so much. So I really appreciate them setting this up and Felicia pushing it through for us.
Thank you. I have one comment that the Planning Commission, when we first drafted this, we did for a hotel or a motel, we did a maximum of 3 stories. They asked to change it to at least 4 stories. With that, the number of rooms, if you see under F or number 2, F, the very first one, the number of rooms is limited to 24 per acre. I would like to strike that because I forgot to take that out when I changed it to at least 4 stories, if that's okay with you guys.
And that's, Felicia, that's fine, because there's, on the compatible use, there's 6 and 7 story buildings down through there now of the Bourbon warehouses of both Beam and Four Roses.
Okay.
Yes.
And we put 4 stories. I don't know if you magistrates want to increase that or decrease it. It's up to you all on what kind of facility you are trying to attract there. National chains are going to be at least 4 stories.
Yes.
I'll second that motion, but I also want, Felicia, what is the common areas and everything out, some of these other corridors and everything throughout the state and everything, are they pretty much four stories, or
Yes.
are they? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty
Okay.
Felicia,
pretty much
Felicia-
consistent.
I'm sorry, Dennis,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Felicia, was there something about food service center, or grocery store, or I read something in,
There was, so what we're doing is allowing additional uses, no matter what your zone, to attract these tourist related things. It was under the, let's see, restaurants. I think we had it as food, food services. I just completely took that out.
okay,
So they-
okay, so there wasn't any requirement from us, or,
No.
recommendation by the planning.
I
Okay,
took that out from the planning commission before I forwarded it to you all.
okay.
So what we're trying to attract is literally restaurants, delis, sit down restaurants. So I think there was some confusion that it was going to allow grocery stores, which we were
Okay.
wanting.
Yeah.
So I just
Well-
took that wording out.
Well, I'd like to echo what the other guys had said, thank you for all your work and putting this together. And I definitely feel like, I just came back from Bowling Green yesterday, and, coming up North 65, that's going to be a great statement as you enter Bullitt County. And I noticed there's a new billboard that went up, and Bullitt County Tourism has a billboard there, pour it on Bullitt County. So I think that's going to be a really signature piece for us. I'd love to see the next step, us focusing as a fiscal court and county, and really improving the fairgrounds, as part of that, as a second step. I think there's a tremendous opportunity with the fairgrounds, and I think there's a lot of ways we can take the right steps to improve the appearance and maybe even grow that fairgrounds. There's a lot of events that even took place last year during the tough time we had with COVID. And I think there's a tremendous opportunity with there, and I'm excited to see the improvements to this exit as kind of a gateway to Bullitt County. So thank you for everything, and I think Dennis seconded that, so you got my vote as well.
Okay.
And let me ask, Rob, are you still on there, Rob?
Yes, sir.
How can we keep this in the county and everything? Is there any way we can protect this property to keep it being annexed and everything, to where we don't lose the control over that property?
Well, there's not much you can do unless you own the property. That's kind of the issue, is that, other than some of the properties immediately around the interchange, everything else is owned by private business owners. And if they, if they agree to be annexed, then there's nothing the county can do to prevent that. The legislature did change the law a couple of years ago to make it a little easier to challenge annexations, but it still has to be by property owners. You don't have to actually live in the property that's annexed, but you have to be an adjacent property owner that's somehow going to be impacted by it. And the main basis for being able to challenge that is that if a city is not going to be providing any type of services to that property, then there may be a possible legal challenge as to whether or not that annexation is appropriate. But it's a pretty narrow, limited path to doing that, and it's something after the fact that you have to file a lawsuit. But as far as the county being able to, preemptively stop an annexation, there's nothing there's no legal authority you have to be able to do that.
All right, thank you, Rob.
And just one further note on this, if I know Felicia's already mentioned one slight revision to this. If there are any other comments, concerns, suggestions, get those to Felicia or to myself, because what we will need to do is we'll have to draft an ordinance to adopt this overlay district, and we can have that ready for first reading for the next meeting. But we want to give everyone an opportunity to make sure you didn't have any changes before we, formalize it and move forward with putting it together and advertising it. But if it sounds like the court is wanting to move forward with this, so we'll go ahead and have it ready for a first reading at the next meeting.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about this for a good while and everything, and it's something that's very much needed, and I do fully support it.
And thank you, Rob, Dennis, Sean, Joe, and a couple of further comments on it all the way around. I would like to not only thank Felicia, but all the residents in the area who went through all the, what I'm gonna say, meetings for input. to make sure that this suited the need of the area. And to help you guys a little bit, we have an agreement with Kentucky Department of Transportation. We're taking care of that exit. If you notice the mulch and the fresh mowing, and we're going to plant some wildflowers in the other 2 sections. So it's really going to be a nice exit, and continuing to move forward with it. It'll be a great entrance into not only Bullitt County, but into central Kentucky as well, where tourism flourishes. Will be a grand entrance to it. So at this time, I have a motion by First District Magistrate Mitchell, a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon, and to approve the zoning overlay, and with comments forwarded to Rob and Felicia with necessary changes if appropriate. Sam, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahal.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Action item number 6, and along that same train of thought, the KRSs with the ABC licensing as a special category for small farm wineries, of which we do not have in Bullitt County. And I would like to make a proposal to set a specific fee more than what the state has for their licensing, but significant enough to where it's impactful for our community and to support the small farm wineries with a Q4 permit as well, which means you can serve a malt beverage as well by the drink. And that's Ordinance 19-11. And I would like to make that a special category to where the small farm wineries would pay $200 a year or $400 for a 2-year permit. Currently, in our ordinances, the 2 years is up since we've been in office, and it's been quite the discussion since we don't have a category for them.
Is that a motion, or is that, you need a second?
Yes, I'm making a motion to amend the ordinance, Magistrate Rahal, to include just an extra category to it, to include small farm wineries with what I almost said, the Q4 permit, which allows them to serve a malt beverage, which would be of anything based off of malt, not a distilled spirit.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, I have a second by 4th District Magistrate Rahal. Any discussion, members of the court? Hearing none. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I have one more item under new business. We didn't get a chance to put it on there, but our personnel policy handbook is 2001, I believe. And what I would like to do, I'd like to move that our current personnel policy handbook be amended that each employee hired by fiscal court shall begin to accrue vacation and sick pay upon hiring, and that this policy be approved to be retroactive by the date of 1/1/2021. That what this means is, instead of an employee waiting 6 months to be able to use sick or vacation time, they can start using it immediately after the end of each month. And because we do have such a we truly have a need for that in our with our employees. The 6 months is sort of what I'm gonna say penalizing due to COVID and everything else. So
I guess one of the questions, I think it was in the handbook 2 different ways under the old handbook, wasn't that correct? It was written 2 different ways.
what this does, Magistrate Mitchell, it cleans it up all the way around. There'll be no ambiguity with it.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, but I believe it was written 2 different ways, and it's hard to interpret which way you needed to go with it. So this, like I say, this will clean this up and everything. That's a question I had on it. That's all I got right now.
Okay. Well, I'm making the motion to change it.
Second.
I got a second by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill. Any other discussion? Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
At this time, members of the court, we need to go into an executive session to discuss
I can't hear you, cut out.
Sorry, I thought they would get the option to go in. I think I just kicked them all into executive session.
Oh,
I had something else to bring up as well.
I can't bring them back. They have to come back.
okay. So 32, what's it pertaining to? Personnel,
Land acquisition, I think.
land acquisition, okay.
I'm gonna go check, make sure. Check on that as well.
Hey, tell them to give me 2 people for a motion too.
Okay. I see his name still on it.
Sam, I'll need to bring up something when they come back into executive session in regards to the bills.
Okay, they said they just have one item. They'll be back in just shortly.
Okay.
I guess John Wooldridge left the meeting. He didn't go in. I'm gonna pause.
So we're just missing Joe, Magistrate Laswell.
He's coming. He thought it was over.
Okay. There he is. Hello, Magistrate Laswell.
All
Okay.
right.
I need a motion I'll make the motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
I got a second by Magistrate Laswell. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'll also make a motion for the sale of the property on Highway 44. And that's going to be subject to the acceptable contract approval. I'll make that motion.
Second.
And I got a second by Magistrate Laswell. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Sam, call the roll, please.
Do I need an address or anything, or do I just say sale of property on Highway 44 pending acceptable contract approval?
We'll get you an address.
Okay.
I don't
Okay,
have
thank
it
you.
in front of me.
Okay, Mr. Rahel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
And Judge, if I may, I believe the property address is 1010 Highway 44 East.
Thank you. You got that, Sam?
1010 Highway 44 East. Gotcha. Is that Mount Washington or Shepherdsville?
Shepherdsville.
Shepherdsville.
It's Shepherdsville.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Do we have any sign-in speakers? Candy? No?
No, sir, no one's let me know they want to speak. I think Canaan wants to say something, but that's it.
Okay. Go ahead, Canan.
Yes, Judge. If I may, upon looking into the bills today, we were $3,200 short. And once I got into it, it looks like there was just a minor typo. Instead of a 3/2 of 21 date, it was entered as 2/2/21. And that was for ServPro. It was an additional invoice that needed to be added to the bills. Did you get that?
Yes, got it.
Okay, and that equals $3,200.
Got you.
So we'll just need to add that additional $3,200 to today's total.
That'll be perfect.
Okay.
Need a motion on that? I'll put it for a motion if you need a motion on it.
Okay.
I think it'll just be, yeah, that we need to amend the total.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Got a motion by Magistrate Mitchell, and I'll
Second.
second that motion for ServPro. They provide the hydroxol equipment. Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers,
Sam, if you need, do you need a reference number, Sam?
please, that would make it easier.
Okay.
Okay, the reference number is 42739890.
Okay, and then what account is that?
That's coming out of the same account as the previous one as well. Oh,
Okay, I'm
one.
ready.
So
Oh, one.
sorry. Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you.
You're
And I'm
welcome.
sorry, are you ready for the motion or want me to read it?
Yep.
Okay, Judge Summers,
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston, Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Magistrate Mitchell, any comments?
No, I'm in good shape for today. Appreciate enjoy this sunshine, gentlemen.
There you go.
It's a welcome sight.
Okay.
Motion with adjourn.
Wait a minute. Hey, three other folks get an opportunity at this too. I'll take your motion.
Aye.
Magistrate Logston.
I'll second Magistrate Mitchell's motion. No, I don't have anything else.
Okay. Magistrate Laswell.
Yeah, I want to ask Kenny how the water situation is in Lebanon Junction.
We were there yesterday. We're going back down there today. It's absolutely no problem. We checked all the way to Boston. Still no issues. The water 44 West looks like it's went down about 4 inches. We checked it early this morning. Salt River is still running pretty good. Floyd's Fork is still out of its banks just a little bit, but there's absolutely no issues with it either. We're looking at the Ohio River later this week to crest, and our water that we do have will start dropping back down pretty quickly. We had a little issues around Bardstown Junction with coming up in Kevin's Field down there, but that's been resolved. So Bullitt County really lucked out on the rain. Cedar Grove Road, mile marker 10, we never closed that down, and Lower Beach Grove Pumpkin Center, no issues there either. So we were fortunate on this.
Okay, thank you, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Kenny. Magistrate Rahal.
I just ratify on that. I was down at City Council in Lebanon Junction last night, and they was really praising the county and the road department and Kenny and them helping them out, you know, having pumps ready for them. So they're excited. Just throughout the county, it's, you know, it's amazing when everybody starts working together and has a common goal that we keep doing what we're doing with the snow removal, you know, even crossing city lines and cities helping county and county helping cities. You know, it's been a really good. I just want to praise our department heads and Judge, you for running the day-to-day operations and all your staff. You know, I haven't had one complaint about anything, and that's amazing.
And
I just want to thank y'all.
And thank you for the kind words, but that's been the whole goal of this administration is to cross the lines and heal the wounds in this community. And And I'm so pleased that we are moving forward with it. And speaking of that, I'll be out all day tomorrow. I'm going to Frankfurt again to try to heal some of those wounds, to be able to bring back more funding. And as of to date, this court, with your all's approval and with the aggressiveness of the staff that we put in place, we've received literally $4.6 million worth of state and federal grants. And to help you a little bit with the past, from as far back as we could go in the last 10 plus years, they had only received 3.7 million in those 10 years. So we've been truly aggressive, and we've reached out for more funding as well, and we'll see how those opportunities play out. But I will be in Frankfurt all day tomorrow to visit with some of my ex-colleagues and friends, hopefully to bring back some more opportunities that our staff can professionally put together a great package like we have already. And on another note, guys and gentlemen of the court, we're going to be doing a press release about the 120,010 meals that we've delivered in Bullitt County as well. So please look forward to that. We couldn't do it without the support of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court and all those who helped with it, all the 4 or 5 of the cities, the mayors, EMS, EMA, Sheriff's Department. So we cannot thank all of y'all enough for your support as a court to allow us to do what we're doing to keep this community safe and whole. That's all I have. And
Judge, just one more thing, if it's okay. Just let everybody know our new exit's open now. If you get a chance to come down there, it's amazing, you know, the relief it's going to let out on Cedar Grove Road. And that's a long time coming. So ride by it. It's a nice little big old lights out there. At nighttime, it looks like Disney World, and it's so nice. And on to ratify on what Judge was saying is everybody reach out to our representatives in the state and tell them whatever they can do to vote to help Bullitt County. That's what we'd like them to do.
that's right.
I've already rejected possibly.
That's all I got, Judge. Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, one last thing. I witnessed something, and maybe the other magistrates or you can help me provide some guidance to some people. I was coming back into Mount Washington on Bardstown Road just a couple nights ago, and I seen about 10 to 12 cars pulled over to the side of the road, and I had no idea what was going on. Some of them had their lights off, some of them had flashers on. Apparently on Bardstown Road, State Highway, right around the Bullitt Jefferson County line, there was a major pothole going northbound, and it wiped out 10, 12, 13 cars. It was amazing to see that many cars on the side, and this was at night and raining. And I didn't have a clue what was going on. And then it wasn't much later, I seen something on Facebook saying that they had a blowout and there was 10 or 12 others. Do we have a direct line to, I know what we do as far as county roads, but to report stuff, potholes on state highways for the citizens in our county? Or I also heard, and I don't know the truth behind this, I'm new to this, but does the state reimburse individuals if they have an issue like that? There were some questions going back and forth, and I don't know if there's really any clarity. Has anybody had any experience with that from a state highway standpoint?
As far as I know, they normally don't reimburse at all. And on the second part is we have a great relationship with Chuck, who's the county foreman for the state as well here in this community. And if it's, and I'll be square with you, Sean, if it crosses that county line, it's a little bit different in Jefferson and Nelson. Nelson's in a totally different district than we are. We're paired with Jefferson. So I hope that answers your questions. That's been our best answers with it.
Yeah, Chuck, I just didn't know if a citizen wanted to report a pothole to the state, is there some easy way for them to do that? Or I know with all the snow and ice, that's going to be an increasing problem, you know, and I know as far as the county, I can pick up the phone, call Robert. He's been extremely responsive and taking care of it, but I didn't know I don't have a secret connection with the state, and I didn't know if anybody did, or if there's a good system for people to do as we move forward through the spring, because I know a lot of those spots are going to be popping back and forth from all that ice and snow and salt.
Right.
John, I used to just tell them we're in District 5. of the state, which is over off Westport Road, I always call Matt Bullock. A lot of
Okay.
times you leave him a message and he'll get back with you, but Chuck's a great person. You know, anytime I see a problem with the state or I have a problem with, that's two people I call in District 5.
Okay. I know some of, obviously other magistrates have been here longer, so that's why I just wanted to, was on my mind real quick before we get out of here, because there was 10 or 12 cars and I thought, wow, what a pothole. It's
Yeah,
a bad deal.
And Sean, we'll send you Chuck's number. Okay?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be good. That way we can get that stuff reported quickly and timely. So maybe it'll stop something from happening, but appreciate everything.
All right. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Mr. Laswell,
Yes.
Mr. Rahal,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes,
motion approved.
thank you. You all have a blessed week and I will see all of y'all soon.
Is Kay still on here?